for reasons that are a little hard to discern. Brad Williams, the comedian who will be appearing in Dania at the Dania Improv November 16th through the 19th, is wearing a T-shirt that is the Golden Girls with Ric Flair. The Golden Girls, there's a Golden Girls themed restaurant that's opening in Miami shortly, and Ric Flair makes me think of how great that Kevin Harlan call was of the Tyreek Hill touchdown, where Tyreek Hill beats the corner and does a backflip in the end zone and celebrates by videotaping himself in the end zone. Kevin Harlan, and I felt so bad for the corner on this play because you're chasing Tyreek Hill. You're stumbling with your momentum behind Tyreek Hill. You fall on the floor, and you're staring straight ahead at Tyreek Hill doing a backflip in front of you now as Kevin Harlan is shouting to the nation, "Oh, he smoked him." And then he goes, "Woo!" And as I'm watching all of that, Tyreek Hill is on pace to have more receiving yards than anybody has ever had in a season. I'm thinking of Brad Williams' Denver Broncos and how they are the opposite of everything that the Miami Dolphins are. And in the offseason, I'm guessing that you had an enormous amount of hope that he was going to go in and fix Russell Wilson. Wilson's been okay. They can't score, but he's been better than he was last year.
That's the barrier to entry. He's okay. He can't score. Well, that's a key part of being a quarterback.
But he's been better than he was last year.
And that shows you how bad he was last year.
Yeah, well, he's not the sole reason they're losing anymore.
Yes.
Now they have several reasons, including the coach that they gave up draft capital and several $1 million to. The most disappointing thing for Brad has to be that this is only the start of their attachment to Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Years to go. Like, I think maybe 2032 is when we finally have a draft pick. So other than that, it's just being a Broncos fan my whole life has been, there's 3 Super Bowls, so I'm very happy. And of course, the Tebow year, which I would argue was more exciting than some of the Super Bowls. But now, the pain, and just the fact that this is 2 years in a row where in the offseason, I legit thought, oh, this team's going to be good. This team's going to be good.
See, that's the thing. It's being bad, anyone can be bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's used to being bad. No problem. It's when you think you're going to be good.
Yes.
And you're not only not good.
Oh, we got Randy Gregory. We got DJ Jones. We got Russell Wilson.
Frank Clark.
Super Bowl winner. Yeah, we got all these guys. We're going to be with Sean Payton is going to finally fix all that. It's just the hope. Like, if I'm like back when you were a Cleveland Browns fan, Mike, every year you would just know, like, well, it's not going to be good.
Right. There was like maybe 3 years where I was like, hey, last year wasn't that bad. We have something good to build on. There'd be some new savior quarterback that you would stop believing in after a season.
Brandon Weeden.
Yeah, but I mean, your existence as a Bronco fan has generally been charmed.
Yes.
You've never looked at an extended run of poor form.
Has it ever felt worse than it did when it was 70-20? Is that as bad as it's ever felt to love that football team?
The worst it ever felt was when I paid thousands of dollars to go watch the Broncos in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks get absolutely destroyed by the same Russell Wilson. What is this life? This man kills me. And then he comes on my team. If you can't beat him, join him. And he's joining, and then he's worse. But yes, 70-20 from a coach that was literally a ball boy, grew up in the system, is a Broncos fan. If you ask him, what is your team growing up, he would tell you, I'm a Denver Broncos fan. I'm friends with Dan Soder, who is obviously friends with your coach. And he's telling me, he wanted to go there. He wanted to be the Broncos coach. Could not get an interview. Couldn't get an interview. Kyle Shanahan is the son of Mike freaking Shanahan. Also grew up in the system. Is a Broncos fan. Nope. Can't get him.
How about John Elway on the way out? We'll trade for Russ. I'm out.
Yeah.
Your problem. Walmart guys enjoy. And then Walmart ownership looks at it like, well, how do we fix this Russell Wilson thing that we got saddled with?
I don't know. We got Condoleezza Rice in the ownership. Can she do something?
Who came up with the idea to give up, like, how many first-round draft picks did you give up for Sean Payton?
Oh, for Sean Payton?
It was one first-round pick, but it was other draft picks as well.
It was other draft picks. Russ was like, all right, Seattle, you got our first round for like 2 years. Like, we can't even tank for Caleb Williams. I don't even think we have a draft pick.
And the NFL, the NFL kind of legislates that, okay, you have this Russell Wilson problem, but you can just draft a quarterback, and you could survive that big contract if you get your QB savior at a low price, but you don't have the draft capital to go out and get the quarterback in a great quarterback class.
What can we just trade Russell for Kirk Cousins and just have the exact same thing happen with both teams?
I don't know. That's like the Indiana Jones swapping. I don't think Minnesota
a bag of sand.
Yeah, I don't think Minnesota is like, we finally get away from this Kirk Cousins contract to bring in the Russell Wilson contract. To me, the most desperate part is there really is no end in sight.
No, there's nothing.
You're just stuck with this.
I named my daughter after one of my favorite Broncos players of all time, of course, Sammy Winder. And no one got that joke. Anyway, but I
would have been weird if it were Reuben Jones.
I did name her after a Broncos player, and now she grows up having that. Where like a few years ago, it would have been like, oh my God, that's your name? That's awesome. And now there's signed jerseys on the wall, and now that means nothing. Nothing.
Little Russell Wilson will grow up. It's so sad.
I want to ask you, though, how you feel about Elway, because obviously as a player, he was magnificent, probably the best athlete in the history of the city. But
Whoa.
Jokic wants a word.
A 2-time MVP.
Now, but like,
I mean, it's crazy that he's in the conversation now.
I would say, that is mad.
But what I was going to say about him as an executive is, and I wanted to bring in Amin on this, because clearly John Elway, as a great quarterback, has no idea what a great quarterback looks like. He failed throughout to get any quarterbacks.
He didn't know that Peyton Manning was good.
He knew Peyton was good.
Credit to him.
He saw Peyton Manning with his one fused neck and said he could still do it. And then they won with him being bad, which was
they won with Peyton Manning throwing 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions that season, the worst season Peyton Manning has ever had.
Brock Osweiler. Praise be his name.
Andres Galarraga would like a word as well.
You can keep doing that if you want. There aren't going to be a lot better than Elway. But how do you
Raouf would like a word?
How do you feel about Elway as an executive? Because on his way out, he saddles you with about $300 million in guaranteed money for Russell Wilson, who's now going to be in his late 30s on that contract.
God, that hurt. You just saying that. I would say that he did put together the squad that won the Super Bowl in 2015. So you can't say it was a complete failure. There are many franchises that would give up God knows how many, like, what would Stugotz give, how many years of suffering to have one more Jet Super Bowl that's during his lifetime. So I can't say he's a complete failure, but you have to look at it and be like, ugh, like, wow. And now he is out of the ownership and out of the front office, and we bring in George Patton, who helps with the Russell Wilson trade and also trades for Sean Payton. So I don't know. How's that Marlins GM? Can we get her in? Can we get her going?
Patrick Roy would like a word.
Oh, that's not bad, actually.
That's actually pretty good.
Joe Sakic is actually in the conversation because he won one as a player and as an executive. So I guess he would like a word.
Adam Foote would like a word.
Oh, that jersey
that
sold so many.
Adam Foote still cuts me because of that 4-game sweep.
So many Foot jerseys out there, man. Everywhere you go.
Claude Lemieux. We'll keep going.
You mentioned Mike McDaniel, and I don't know if the rest of you have enjoyed as much as I have his mic'd up segments. There have been a few this year that I've really enjoyed. We made fun of at length Geno Smith screaming, "Oh my God," when Aaron Donald came through the middle of the line.
Mean Geno Smith being human?
Yes, anybody would shout the same thing. Speaking of which, there was another one this week because Kieran Williams of the Rams was hit by Jordan Davis a couple of weeks ago. Jordan Davis is 6'6", 340-something pounds. And what you heard after the squashing sound was just a whimper that said, "Oh shit," which was Kieran Williams. But Mike McDaniel was mic'd up, and he's just talking to himself all game, and he says, "I'm fighting myself, and myself is winning." He is really unusual, and his none of this would be charming if he didn't have an offense that was on a pace to blow out all other offenses in the history of the sport.
Oh, 1,000%. You tolerate the weirdness and you tolerate this stuff. Now, if he was losing and talking to himself, you'd be like, oh my God, our coach is insane. He's legitimately insane. But the fact that he has this historical offense and just players that are always open makes you go like, yeah, whatever he does, fine.
It's like, remember Adam Gase in the press conference where he was doing the crazy eyes thing?
Yeah.
Like, if they had come out and won 15 games, it's like, oh, man, the guy's great, right? They call it genius when it works. When it doesn't work, you just a loon.
But speaking of genius, though, are you surprised in any way? You've told us before that these people who are great at what they do can't necessarily coach it, can't necessarily explain to others why it is they were great, which is why most superstars don't end up being great coaches. But don't you think someone like John Elway should be able to spot in a quarterback future development that the rest of us could not spot?
No, well, he very clearly couldn't spot future development because he just kept drafting tall guys. But he saw the finished product with Peyton Manning. He's like, I'll take him. He's better than Tebow.
Emphasis on finished, by the way.
Yeah. I just realized someone else that's in the great state of Colorado. Deion Sanders would like a word.
Yeah. With the second and last team in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
He's so
What?
happy.
They're only ahead of Arizona State.
No, Dan, here's the thing. I don't think it's about the inability to explain in that case. I think the other thing is players, whether they're great or not, tend to have a bias for guys that they see something of themselves in for whatever reason. Like, it might be a little thing, but it's like, oh, that reminds me of me. And then they conflate that with, like, this person has it. And then they put their trust in it. So I think player evaluation sometimes is it's a science where you got to sit down and actually do the math rather than just kind of gut feeling he can play, he can't play. And again, for the star player, the great player, it's like, no, I know, because he's got that thing that I had, and I was great, so hence he's going to be great too.
But how is it that you pick terrible quarterbacks? Like, all of them are terrible. It's not like any of them even have a modicum of success other than the ones who we all can see can play, that were Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson.
What's Nathan Peterman doing right now?
The Peterman.
Can we get him?
Where is he right now?
I think he's still around.
Is he?
Yeah. He might
Like
be in
working?
Chicago.
He's not in
No.
Oakland. No, I think he's
Well,
right.
no
I
one's
think
in
Mike
Oakland.
is right.
Trade
I'm
Russell
sorry.
for
Yeah, the
Peterman.
Raiders.
I'm starting the hashtag right now.
Next thing you're going to tell me Trevor Simeon's on a roster somewhere.
He is. He's on the Jets.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Yes,
Trevor
he is.
Simeon's
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I was right.
Wow.
Nathan Peterman is a quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Good God.
As if that franchise has
Wait, he's
something to do.
back there?
Yeah. They very clearly saw something they liked.